All right, guys, what's up? How's it going? Welcome to the Bending Ballistics show, and we are joined with the Ballistically Speaking Podcast tonight. A little bit of
What's up, Kentucky?
A little bit of rivalry in our names here.
Yeah. Or maybe just some similarities, some sharing. Some camaraderie.
Yeah. There we go. We got Del Poe with us. He was our first to comment tonight.
What's up, Dale?
All right, guys. So everything is linked in the description down below for the Ballistically Speaking podcast, but I'm going to let these guys introduce themselves where they can go from it, and we'll go from there.
Get her done, Rooster.
All right. Well, I'm normally referred to as Rooster. It's not my, as surprising as it may seem, it's not my given name. It's earned. Let me see. We've been doing Ballistically Speaking for a while. We were on a couple other podcasts before that. I'm generally speaking the precision rifle, long range, extreme long range guy. I leave the close range stuff up to Chris. Been getting into 22 a little bit more. I hosted several events in the last couple of years at my range out at the farm, and where we've got 1,100 meters out there. I guess it's not awesome, but it'll do for rimfire ELR, that's for sure. So yeah. Really, I guess that's me. Father of three. Not
beard aficionado.
Yes. I'm not such as glorious a beard as Bending here, but I'm working on it. There's restrictions in Canada, including beard size,
beard length. Yeah.
Is there really?
No.
Well, there's extra taxes if you grow bigger beards.
Oh,
it's getting also, to be that way.
That's also not true.
I thought you were being for real.
Part of our carbon tax system.
Well, I guess I'm Chris, also with Ballistically Speaking from the Socialist Republic of Kanakistan, and I guess you could call me the generalist on the team. I probably have the least experience, despite the fact that both of us have been around guns for all of our lives. Kurt has, Rooster has definitely been practicing the trigger pulling for a lot longer than I have. I guess together we run Ballistically Speaking Podcast.
Running it into the ground.
Up out of the prairies and the Great White North of Saskatchewan, Canada.
Indeed.
Yeah, I love your guys' podcast. I really enjoyed like the long form podcast of YouTube, other than short videos, because I could just throw in my earbuds at work and just go on about my business about it. So that's my thing.
Man, so we, Vegas has SHOT Show every year.
Mm-hmm.
Canada's got our version of it. It's called TACOM, and it's held in Toronto, Ontario. So I was just at TACOM. Kurt was at a competition event. He had to go west. I went east. So I drove through, the U.S. to get there, because the interstates have a higher speed limit than Canada does. And the point of me mentioning this, I have completely forgotten, but there was a point which is related to something that you were saying, and I can't remember it at
all. You better take another drink. I tell you.
What were you saying, Bending? You were saying something about. You can't remember either.
Listening to long form podcasts, and that's what
you're
doing.
Yeah, the long form podcast.
That's right. So I
gotta do everything around here.
I had nearly 3,000 kilometers to drive one way, which is, that's what, about 1 3/4 miles? Or sorry, that's not right. 3,200 kilometers
is a mile.
Approximately. It's close to 2,000 miles. Close to 2,000 miles.
Oh,
sure.
Is where I drove. So point being, I listened to a whole bunch of podcasts on the way there and back. Yeah. Especially the long form ones. I listened to a couple of 5-hour Jocko podcasts, and passes the time pretty good.
There you go. Hell yeah. we've got Alaskan Ballistics with us. If you guys ever get a chance to interview Chuck from over at Alaskan Ballistics, very nice guy.
Are you in Alaska? Is he in Alaska?
Yeah, Chuck is in Alaska. He's a very nice guy, very knowledgeable. He's big into the hunting stuff and
is he like
everything.
Anchorage area or?
I think he's in Anchorage. I've been on his channel a couple of times.
Yeah.
Chuck's a very nice guy.
The
family
podcast that I watched, he's on an acreage somewhere just out of town. It sounds heavenly. I used to guide in the Yukon, and it's same kind of setting. If I had known what was in store for me for life down the road after that, I just stayed in Whitehorse. He seems like a pretty good dude.
Both of us, independently of each other, spent a significant amount of time in the Yukon, and it's I envy anyone who's living anywhere near that area.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. If it wasn't for the fact that I hate the cold and I hate the snow, I would still be in Wisconsin.
Well, I suppose you do live in southern Kentucky, but I love the cold. I'm all about it.
I hate it, man. I absolutely hate it.
Like, don't get me wrong, like minus 20 or colder or minus 20 Celsius, whatever. What's minus 20 in Fahrenheit there, Kurt? Is it 32 that it's zero?
Listen, I know I'm
32 is zero for us.
30, yeah,
so
whatever it is. Cold.
It's gotta be around minus 30 or some darn thing.
Yeah, that's about where they equal out with each other, right?
Minus
Something
40
like
is minus 40.
Is it 40?
It's 40. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that much I do know.
So anywhere from like 0 to minus 40 Fahrenheit is not particularly fantastic or thereabouts. No. But, I'm a big fan of the, minus 5 to minus 15 Celsius, whatever that is in freedom language.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know about all that. It gets cold here. But like our cold here is like -5 Fahrenheit. So I don't know. Our snow.
Right, I got your back. I got your back. -5 Fahrenheit is minus 20 Celsius.
Oh, is that right? I was way wrong.
Yeah.
Now, the day I left Milwaukee, Wisconsin, it was -45 Fahrenheit. The day I left there, with a wind chill of a -60.
Yeah, so that's pretty close to the same in Celsius. That's minus 43 in Celsius.
Right.
Like that's pretty cold. We had what did we hit minus with the wind chill last winter in February? We hit minus 56 or something like that.
I'm not sure. I know that where I work, we routinely hit minus 50 Celsius.
So
plus
plus the wind chill, exactly. So minus 56 Celsius is minus 60, almost not minus 69 Fahrenheit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we hit that last winter.
Yeah.
It's so weird how Celsius and Fahrenheit, how the numbers work.
Yeah.
But leave it to the U.S. not to change over to a metric system like everybody else is.
Well, you know what? You guys have a pretty good reason for why you do everything differently. I mean, you kind of fought a tiny little known war, to gain your freedom from, the oppression of taxation without representation. So it kind of stands to reason that after that happened, they were like, fuck everything British.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, that's accurate. But like even our American made cars here, everything, all the nuts and bolts and everything are in metric.
Yeah. Dude. I got a wrench set right over there. I got this is the way it works in Canada. We have one set we have to have two. We always have one set that's imperial and one set that's metric, depending on what we're working on.
Yeah, it's the same here with that. So what really got you guys into firearms? Because like I know when I got into them, I was like knee high to a grasshopper, and rule in our family was if you could pick it up, you could shoot it. It didn't matter what it was. As long as you could hold it up and you could shoulder it, you could shoot it. It's just, I guess it's just a way of life here. It's normalized, more or less. So
yeah, it is for a large part, especially on the prairies. I mean, Ontario also has a pretty large gun culture, at least for the size of Canada. I mean, we're 1/10 your population, and for us, it's there's kind of spots around Canada that has a large gun culture. The prairies, it's almost essential. Northern areas, in northern forested areas, and that's the way people survived for years and hundreds of years. So like for me, growing up on a farm on the prairies, my dad was never he was too damn busy farming to really give a damn about hunting and guns and that. But for myself, I was enamored with guns from an early age. I remember probably about 8 years old, reading stories about like Carlos Hathcock and people like that, military type stuff. And it just really set in deep with me. And I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons I'm a precision rifle guy now. Just from that influence, I guess you'd say. My best friend growing up, his family was big into hunting where mine wasn't. So naturally, I'd go visit my buddy, and we'd go hunt beavers or go hunt deer or antelope or whatever. And it just really fed that for me. I spent a lot of my late teen years, early 20s playing competitive softball around North America. But when I came home, that whole gun thing kind of crept in again, back home on the prairies, hunting and all that sort of stuff. And it just really built from there. Got involved with like the M1A type firearms. We've got a lot of the Norinco M305s up here, which are now banned.
But not because of our relationship with China. Unlike the U.S., we've had access to a number of, Russian and Chinese firearms that for certain periods of time haven't been available in the U.S. But sorry, carry on.
No, and I got into precision rifle about, I think, 13 years ago. Started going that way from the spray and pray type shooting to picking your spot and hitting it kind of thing. And that's what really I guess that's what really floats my canoe. So, yeah.
What a Canadian way to say that.
I know, hey. That's what puts the moose in my canoe.
So we had a couple other people jump in, and I want to say hello to them. We've got E-Rock Outdoors, very good guy. He's very active on my channel in the comment sections and everything like that. Super nice guy to talk to. We got, I don't know exactly how to say Yuke's entire name, so we're just going to call Yuke.
I can do it. Yukikaze.
Yes, do it.
It's Yukikaze. Yukikaze.
Yuke is such a good guy. We got Tactical Fud. Tactical Fud does have a channel.
Beautiful.
So if anybody wants to go check out Tactical Fud, very nice guy.
Excellent.
And Dell is still here.
What's the Tactical Fud do, I wonder? It seems like kind of a contradicting set of terms.
He's kind of like a Jewish white supremacist.
Right.
Just constantly in
odds with himself. Yeah. You don't need that. Damn right I do.
Tactical Fud's a good guy.
Nice, very nice.
We linked up on a lot of smaller channels, and so he's a good guy. So what about you, Chris? How did you get into the firearm scene?
Yeah, well, first I think I'll say I'm not going to give everybody a history lesson because most of these people probably know about history better than I do. But I think one of the biggest differences in how firearms have evolved in general in Canada versus the US is, like you guys really, as your country was forming, your forefathers understood the importance of firearms for the defense of freedom. And in Canada, we were never really had that. We didn't have a revolution. And I think that firearms and firearm culture was just as important in Canada, but for different purposes. And firearms really evolved being seen as tools for specific purposes rather than as a tool for defense of yourself or defense of your country, or a symbol of what is going to allow your country to remain independent, if that makes sense. So, even today, it's in our criminal code that, firearms cannot be banned if they are viable for the purposes of hunting and sport shooting. And that's really what Canada evolved firearms for, really. And by the same token, there are multiple provinces, obviously our version of states, that our chief firearms officer for our particular province has policies that owning a firearm for self-defense is not a viable reason to own a firearm. And so if you're looking for a license to own a firearm and they ask you, what do you want this for? And you say, well, I want it to defend my home, they'll deny your license, which obviously is very different than the United States. So, Kurt was talking about, firearms on the farm and that sort of thing. I think a lot of people in Canada got introduced to firearms as a tool for those types of purposes, whether it's varmint control, wildlife defense, or those sorts of things. My introduction to firearms was more on the sports side. My father competed as a handgun competitor in the 60s and 70s, and then started having children, and they sold everything. They sold his 69 Camaro.
Oh, I thought you were going to say they started selling children. That's a rough life, dude.
Well, in hindsight, I'm sure that they probably regret not selling their children or eating us when our bones were soft or something. But he sold all of his competitive firearms, but still had, hunting rifles, a couple of hunting shotguns, and a couple of handguns, and one of my earliest memories is the hand cannon that I ended up inheriting from my father, the Dirty Harry, the Smith and Wesson Model 29-2 in 44 Magnum with the 10 and 3/8 inch barrel. I was just enamored with them. So, growing up, I was the kid that had I literally had a cardboard box in my room of plastic guns. And I was the kid that was out bringing the whole neighborhood together so we could go play war. And I just bring my cardboard box of guns out into the yard, and I'd be like, everybody pick one. And then you're on this team, you're on this team. We do that thing. And then it'd be like, all right, everybody has 2 minutes to get in their area. And then we'd literally run around the entire neighborhood. And I do mean trespassing and everything.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that Chris is not considered truly Canadian, because while he was playing guns with his little buddies in the neighborhood, the rest of us were playing hockey, for God's sake.
That's true. That's true. Fuck hockey. I'm all about fucking playing war with it. Now, oddly enough, though, I remember when I was young, I wanted to be a GI Joe. I didn't know what branches of the military were. BB guns and potato cannons. Nice. I actually used to play war with a Crossman BB gun, which would not be allowed anymore. But I mean, fuck, it was the 80s, whatever. So I mean, always just enamored with them. And then, into my 20s, I was never, I never had the money to actually shoot. I always owned firearms, but they were basically safe queens because I could never afford to feed them. And then, got a real job and, started to feed them, started taking it a lot more seriously, and kind of got involved in the community. And here we are.
So here's kind of a question. So you were saying kind of in y'all's law that they can't ban firearms for sport shooting or hunting. But how is that working with how your prime minister just signed the cap on pistols?
Excellent.
There is a however in here.
Well, sort of. And the however is, if you have a weak opposition party and a corrupt tyrant narcissist prick who's willing to do anything that he can possibly get away with, whether it's constitutional or not, he will. And part of the problem is the way that that particular piece of legislation is written, is that it is, if in the opinion is it the Governor General, Rooster?
Yes.
In the opinion of our Governor General,
which is simply a fucking figurehead.
Literally a figurehead. Yeah. Literally a figurehead for the Queen. Figurehead for the King. Got to get with the times here. Queen is dead. Long live the King. If it's in their opinion is viable for hunting or sport shooting, then it cannot be banned by the government of Canada. Well, the Governor General is like we said, it's essentially a figurehead position. It's a throwback to when the Queen had actual power. And they're appointed by the monarchy in England to be the king's representative in Canada. It's an absolutely bullshit position.
Okay, well, you know what? We don't want to get too deep into politics here.
Yeah. So anyway, what ended up happening was our prime minister basically has a meeting with the Governor General and says, hey, I want to pass this order in council, which is kind of the Canadian analog to an executive order.
Here's a couple of bucks.
Yeah, basically. Or can I do that on the podcast? I don't know. And essentially the Governor General said, yeah, in my opinion, these firearms, and this is the thing, they conflated not suitable for with not needed because there are other suitable firearms.
There's no place in Canada for X.
Exactly. So technically, even the way that it's written, they didn't do it right, because the way it's written says suitable for, and they just basically said there are other suitable options, so we can ban these ones.
Like slingshots.
Yeah. And essentially, until a court of law tells them that it was unconstitutional, they can do whatever the fuck they want.
Also appointed by the representative government.
Yes.
Yeah, but y'all don't have, well, do you guys have how in the US, like, so we have a regional, basically like a local local court system. Then we have then it goes all the way up to the Supreme in the state system.
We have a similar system.
Then we have a district system, and then we have the actual Supreme Court rule of the land. This is how it goes. Fuck you if you don't like it.
Yeah.
Well, I see that, and Chris may see this a little bit differently, but I see probably the biggest, one of the biggest problems with our system is that we don't have anything remotely resembling sovereignty among the provinces like you guys do with your states. Your state laws are what
except Texas. Texas is its own republic.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So even more
the benefits of being the spoils of the Mexican War.
That's right. But we're so federally regulated. The provinces themselves really don't have a hell of a lot of power to do F all.
What you're saying practically, Rooster, is true. And this is the idiocy of how our system really has evolved, because when our Constitution was written, according to the writing in our Constitution, our provinces actually have more autonomous powers than the individual states do in the U.S.
They've certainly never been.
They've never used it.
Exercised. No.
Never. And the major reason is because the way that our system has evolved, our provinces have become so dependent on the funding from our federal government that becomes a larger, that carrot becomes a larger and more influential system than what on paper says they're allowed to actually do.
Yeah,
they just don't exercise the autonomy that they have.
Yeah.
So E-Rock brings this up. I don't want to keep beating this dead horse on there. But is this, like, how is this law written in regards to, so like where I live in Kentucky, I have a stand your ground law and no duty to retreat. Like somebody kicked in my door right here, like regardless of what it is, I have the right to not have to retreat and charge and handle said situation.
So there's a couple of things with that. First of all, and very recently, our government, certain members at least of our government, have made it very clear that Canadians, in fact, do not have any rights whatsoever.
Yes.
And
there's actually a constitutional challenge before the courts right now.
right.
There's multiple. Sorry, there's a constitutional challenge that is challenging the government removing our rights of freedom of movement. And there's a constitutional challenge to our liberty rights, which provide us the right to the ownership of property. Both of those are having to be contested in court right now because of how this government has acted.
So do you guys not, so we have a Fourth Amendment right, which is our freedom of association.
Yes.
Do y'all not have that?
It was removed from us during COVID.
Yes.
How can they remove a constitutional right out of the Constitution?
Good question. Okay.
Welcome to Canada.
We haven't answered E-Rock's question yet, and I'm going to give you the very quick Cliff's notes of how the government has taken away our rights and so far gotten away with it. First thing to understand is our prime minister currently is Justin Trudeau. Our Constitution was written and enshrined by Pierre Elliott Trudeau,
His
father. And we did not have, we were using the British Bill of Rights up until 1982.
Correct.
And our own Constitution was written and enshrined in 1982 by Pierre Elliott Trudeau. Section 1 of our Constitution specifically states that the government can remove any of the rights granted under our Constitution, provided, and I'm trying to remember the exact wording. I can't remember exactly what the wording is, but it's something to the effect of provided that it is in the best interest of the country in some way. I can't remember exactly how they've written it.
Under certain conditions.
Hey, that's Hootie Hoo.
Yeah, Hootie Hoo is actually a really good friend of mine. He's been on my channel a couple times now. Very nice guy. Super helpful, very knowledgeable in a lot of stuff.
Very cool. Yeah, I watched some of his YouTube stuff.
Hootie is such a nice guy, man. If you guys ever get a chance to reach out to him, highly recommend it. He's such a nice guy.
Sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Excellent.
He's a couple hours from me. He's down in Tennessee.
Oh, cool. All right. Yeah, so I mean, any of our rights can be removed, and they have been under their opinion, I suppose. Yeah. And it's going to be up to our Supreme Court with those constitutional challenges that are currently before them for them to decide whether we actually have rights in this country or not.
Yeah. So getting back to the question,
the self-defense,
the self-defense, it is it's basically unwritten, but it is our duty to flee, and report to the authorities, and
that is continually reinforced by our federal police force, the RCMP.
Yes, and the few examples of people standing their ground and
with firearms,
protecting their families. Even in an instance where someone was firing on the house and the homeowner fired back, like the one particular guy in Ontario, actually won that case after, 3 years of court battles and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. And he was charged because he returned fire and just had better aim than the criminal pieces of shit that were shooting
on him.
Yeah.
So it's a shame on you for defending yourself and being accurate with your shot and not hurting somebody else. But
isn't that a mind bender?
Yeah. Now here's why. The way that our criminal code is written in terms of self-defense. First of all, we have a charter right to defense of the person.
MC, come on.
Listening as I assemble an AR. Oh, come on. Just rub it in. I had an AR-10 once. Up until May 1st, 2020.
Yeah.
I won't pull mine up off the bench right here.
Yeah, please don't. It just makes us cry, and we don't want to cry on camera.
Public.
So Yeah, the way that it's written, we do have the right to self-defense, but that right is limited. It is not unfettered, and it is limited in the way that we can only use as much force as is absolutely necessary to repel the attacker. And that's the paraphrase of how it's written in our legislation.
Right.
So what that means is, if somebody breaks into my home and I don't assess the threat in terms of, why are you here? Are you here to hurt me, or are you lost? And I have to have a conversation with the motherfucker. Exactly. Yeah. And I just pick up a gun and shoot him. Then if, in the opinion of the Crown and the RCMP, I used more force than was required than to end his assault of my home or his trespass of my home, I acted outside the confines of self-defense, and I will be charged with murder or manslaughter or whatever they decide to charge me with. Similarly, if somebody breaks into my home with a knife and tries to attack me with a knife, and I whip out a gun, that can also be seen as a greater amount of force. I may have bought that at a yard sale, 200 Canadian or 75 USD. Yes. He's missing a zero in the Canadian dollars there. It's 2,000 Canadian or 75 USD.
And Dale Pogue. Now Dale's just being mean.
Yeah,
yeah. I'm gonna have to pull out of the safe what we're allowed to have in a little bit here for you guys.
You're taking
it's gonna
one
make you
out.
guys laugh. Yeah, it's gonna make you guys laugh.
I actually just built a custom AR-10 for myself in 6 Dasher.
Oh yeah.
Reeser, you know what the Dasher is, I'm sure.
Yes, sir.
Do you know what it is, Chris?
Yeah. Okay. I've never shot one, but I'm familiar with the cartridge.
Yeah.
It has been a total pain in the ass to get it to feed. And now I'm actually working on my second one. That's a Wildcat, and it's a 6 GT.
Oh, yeah.
We call the GT the gay tiger here. I don't know what you guys call it there.
Oh, yeah, it's well entrenched.
Same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yuka Kazi, pea shooters. I don't know. Should I show everybody my pea shooters?
Get your slingshot. It's a custom slingshot. You're gonna love it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Hang on a sec. I won't be able to hear you for a moment.
Okay.
You can tell Chris is a scholar. Man, that guy can talk. I'm much more a listener than I am a talker.
Yeah, I'm with you there, and it's the mindset of the things there versus here. Like where you guys are forced to retreat.
Did you ask if you could show that first though?
No.
I don't know if YouTube will shut us down or not, but
they'll only shut you down if you've got a woke piece of shit that's watching your stream and they complain.
Well, we are streaming.
It's up to you. I don't have to
do
show and tell.
Branding.
Let's wait till closer to the end. That way,
okay.
If we get shut down, it'll be like the last 5 minutes versus the middle of it.
I'll put them on hold.
Disrespectful.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah. So I'm doing the 6 GT right now, and I think when I get done, I'm going to do a 6 Creed in gas. I love gas rifles, especially in PRS. Even though you're limited, like you kind of come down with what you're limited on. I mean, you get a little castrated, but it is a lot of fun competing.
Well, you're telling us.
Yeah.
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 I've got a gas gun right now that I'm doing a review on it. It's it's Canadian made, so it's kind of its own animal, but it's sort of based on the 180 system. So it's a piston system with a 180 reminiscent bolt carrier, and then most of the rest of it's AR type stuff. But when I'm done the review, I'll be converting it into 6.5 Grendel.
I love the Grendel, man.
Yeah, it'll be my first.
I love the Grendel.
Blackout.
Yeah. That 8.6 Blackout looks really cool.
You like that, don't you?
I do.
If Eagle Run 2-3 jumps in here, he's got an 8.6 Blackout. I'm assuming he will jump in here at some point. I talk to him at least once or twice a week. He's got an 8.6 Blackout and a 16-inch that he just finished, and he's working on doing a pistol, I think is what he said. Well, pistol.
Yeah,
Next.
You know, it's funny though. The one thing that's different about you guys and us is we don't have to call SBRs pistols.
Yeah.
But they do restrict them. If it's a gas gun, then it falls into our restricted category, and you're not allowed to carry it around. Like, you can't take it hunting. You can't take it into the wilderness. You can only take it to a registered gun range to shoot.
See that? So that's kind of my other question. So, like, your gun ranges, are they? So I've been to Switzerland and I've shot in Switzerland and stuff like that. And theirs, it's a club. Like, all the ammo has to stay there, but you can take your rifle with you. Is it like that there, or is it you can have your stash of ammo? It doesn't matter.
Our government, thankfully, our government is trying. They've mentioned that they would like to pass legislation for, what do they call it?
Central storage.
Central storage of all of our firearms, not just even our ammunition.
Right.
But thankfully, we're not there right now. We can have our ammunition and our firearms at home.
So far.
Yeah, so far. Fuck.
That's a little odd. I don't know, but I don't want to keep beating this dead horse and going into it and like rubbing it. You know what I mean? Like,
rubbing it in.
Yeah.
Listen, we cry enough.
I'm in the U.S. a lot. I've got my business mentor is in Florida, so he rubs it in all the time. So it's nothing.
Yeah, but
new.
at least you get to get out and you get to shoot fun stuff.
Yeah.
That's non-restricted here. But it's weird. Like, that was the thing that really shook me the most when I talked to Sean the first time on it live, was that things that are restricted here aren't so much restricted there.
Yeah,
but it's
for
the exact opposite here. And
Mm.
that like really threw me off. I was like,
Well, you guys have restrictions for short-barreled rifles, right?
Yeah.
Even bolt guns?
Yes.
Yeah, see, I can like, so
makes sense.
86 blackout, if I wanted to, and I do, there's a particular gun that's on the market right now that it's the Canadian market. It's made by a company called Black Creek. It's called the MRX Bison, and it's a short little folding stock bolt action rifle with a 9-inch barrel, and like folded up. I think it's something like 15 inches long or 16 inches or something like that. So like it's super compact. And generally we have a law that it can't be under an overall length of 26 inches. But because they engineered the folding stock so that when it's folded up, it interferes with the it forces the safety on, and you can't turn the safety off. So it disables the firearm while it's folded up. They got past the overall length restriction, and now it's like a 15 or 16 inch bolt action rifle. And I want one in 8.6 blackout because I think that would be the tits. And that would be completely non-restricted. You could do whatever you want with it, take it wherever you want.
Now, are you guys restricted on suppressors?
We can't have them at all.
Prohibited.
Yeah. See, that's weird because England, it's required to shoot a firearm in England is with the suppressor. You have to have one.
It's almost the same way in New Zealand. It's not an absolute requirement, but they definitely encourage it. And that's right. Just an example of how short-sighted and frankly ignorant our government is.
Yeah, for decades, our politicians just watched Stallone and Schwarzenegger movies and said, nope, can't have that.
Yeah.
It's literally how it went. Nice place, got a lot of great looking girls. Well, we do have, that's the second time I've heard that in like 3 weeks. We do have a lot of good looking girls.
To Saskatoon.
Yeah.
Yep. But see, we've got states here like Illinois, California, New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts. There's a couple of other ones that SBRs are like illegal. So when this new pistol brace rule goes into effect, these guys that have them, if they're going to comply with the law as the law is written or the rule is changed, however you want to look at it, they're going to be stuck between a rock and a hard spot on, do I make it an SVR and have to surrender it, or do I not do this and try to hide below the radar?
Well, I would never say this on camera, and the comment was made just a little bit further up. What were they saying? Who was saying it? MC said, what? Canadians don't just have the saying, nothing is illegal unless caught. Canadians very much have that saying. I've known people that have buried, Browning machine guns in a field, and they just stuff it in a barrel with cosmoline and bury it in their farmer's field. It's definitely a thing. I mean, there's lots of people that have absolutely no intention to do anything bad. They're just, with the way that the political wind blows, they just don't want to, like, it's gone, it's back, it's gone, it's back. So they throw it in cosmoline, they bury it until the political winds change, and then they bring it back out and they shoot it just like any other law-abiding citizen.
Yep. There's lots of room in Canada.
And frankly, that's going to happen. I was talking about a weak opposition earlier. That may change very quickly. We have a brand new leader of the opposition, and he's not weak, at least so far. And he has a real chance at taking the next election. At least it looks that way right now. And if that happens, I won't have to cry when you guys show your AR-10s, because we'll be able to have them again too. And that's the strange thing of it all, is they made these things illegal. They haven't taken them from us. They're all in our safes, just sitting there. And we just have to wait until they're not illegal anymore.
Constitutional Carpenter says technically we're all born with natural rights. It just depends if your government recognizes those rights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Our government recognizes that. Yeah, I totally agree. But our government recognizes that nobody has the cojones to stand up to that anymore and declare that we actually do have natural rights. And they've declared without even a bloody blink that we have nothing for rights.
Now, as internet personalities, Rooster and I have to be careful. I mean, I don't know what it's like in the U.S. if the FBI is in the habit of watching gun channels, but the RCMP is most certainly in the habit of watching internet content and internet personalities. So, I mean, Rooster and I have to be as compliant as compliant gets, but we're still just waiting for a new government. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, ATF is like that here. That's our biggest problem, is the ATF. But all right, so let's.
Did you see MC's? I'm sorry, we'll move on. But did you see MC's comment?
King Charles, he's right in there with the WEF. So like, no chance.
I don't know. I think King Charles is going to grant us some rights back right before he joins the Queen. I think
that's right.
It's not going to be another 70 years before there's a third monarch in England.
No. But we'll see. So what? You shoot 3-gun, right, Chris?
No, I don't actually. I'm not much of a competitor. I'm a lifestyle guy. A lot of what I do with firearms is because I love doing it, and I don't do a lot of competition. I have not entered a 3-gun match. I've done 22 matches. I've done a PRS match, but that's it. That's all for competition.
Gotcha. And now, Rooster, I know you shoot pretty high up. You just competed at the Canadian 2 Mile, didn't you?
Yep. Yeah, the King of 2 Miles in Canada.
Cracked the top 10.
Yes, sir.
Congratulations, brother.
Oh, thank you. For the second year in a row, the only 2 years that we've been in it, my teammate and I made the finals both years. So we do fairly well, yeah. And Michael, for his question, are we pro shooters? No.
I shoot, and I am a professional.
Professional bullshitter, maybe. But we don't have such industry support like you do down in the States. Really, sponsorship is tough to come by. Now, saying that, my 2 Mile rifle is a fully sponsored unit. I got very lucky that way. So Professional, I don't know how you really define that in Canada, but I'm close, I suppose, in precision rifle, extreme long range stuff, I suppose.
That's an interesting point that you make, Rooster. You're right. I mean, we don't really have a professional in the common sense of the word shooting industry. It's all what would be classified under most sport organizations as amateur.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Because we don't get paid for it.
Yeah.
So so the matches here in the US, so there's payouts for them. Is it not like that there?
Oh no, it's all pride.
In fact, we pay to compete.
That's right. Yeah.
So like my PRS matches that I do and my 3-gun matches, I'm completely sponsored. My entry is sponsored. Everything is sponsored and paid for by my sponsors.
Right.
Yeah. That exists here too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Not on the same level. I mean,
in a much smaller way. Yeah.
Yeah. Like there's probably more competitors just in, Tennessee and Kentucky than there are in the entirety of Canada.
That's right.
Yeah. Really?
I mean, we have 1/10 of the population, right?
Yeah.
So it's just a numbers game, I think.
So MC says you are a professional if you have a shirt with your name on it.
Well, then Kurt is most definitely a professional.
I guess
he's a little bit of a narcissist. Almost every shirt he wears, just in regular life, has his name on it. Yeah.
Yeah. They're all custom made.
Yeah.
Now, what caliber are you shooting for ERL?
I'm shooting the 33XC, 300 grain burger OTM, and I'm pushing them at 3186 feet per second. So yeah, that sucker's humming. Yeah. Yeah.
I've been playing with a 338 Edge a little bit. I've been flirting with the ideas of it. I haven't quite married it yet because I don't marry a cartridge till I buy the die. But once I buy the dies, I'll marry the cartridge. Is
polygamy a thing in Kentucky?
Right. Firearms polygamy.
Firearm polygamy? Yeah.
I mean, if that's the case, like, I got a lot of wives that aren't happy.
You got a harem, man.
Yeah. But my daughter, she shoots ERL 3-gun and PRS with me, and I've created a little monster with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a good thing. I mean, if you're going to create a monster, that's the one you want to create, I think.
Yeah. So I guess it was last year we were at a match, and so this is her last year as junior. She'll go up to the full women's division next year because of the age cap. And some kid was talking shit to her last year, and she was like, keep talking shit. She was like, you'll get beat by a girl. Keep playing with me.
How old is your daughter?
She'll be 18 in September. Or September. Nice. What is today? She'll be 18 tomorrow.
Well,
you best remember
for reminding you.
Yeah, she'll be 18 tomorrow. So, I had my daughter when I was young.
Quick similar story. My regular day job, my wife and I work together. We run a martial arts academy, and my wife has a little handbag that says, "Yeah, I punch with a girl, or I punch like a girl. Try to keep up."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that is a hefty projectile. I agree with you.
Yeah, you know it when it trips off.
Oh yeah. Like I said, she's just become a little monster with 3-gun. She's a little bit tall or shorter than me, but she's super tiny, so she can move really fast and
right.
She makes up the time on those running stages.
Yeah, but she still can't. She's only beat me one time at a match. It's because I was having rifle malfunctions. And
come on, Dad, be honest.
Well, the next match, she was running her mouth saying, "Oh, well, I beat you last time. I'll beat you again." So I kind of had to humble her a little bit and beat her like 34 seconds in overall time. And she was like, "Yeah, okay, I can't beat you."
Well, I'll tell you
That,
one thing.
Jerry
You're
and
gonna
Lena
lose
Mitchelluk situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll bet
but
you don't mind losing to her.
I don't mind losing to her. Actually,
Mm.
I encourage her to beat me.
Absolutely.
I keep telling her, like, she can't venture off of my name in 3-gun and expect to be where I am just based on our name.
Yeah.
You've got to earn it. And so that's the thing that I've told her, because the companies that I shoot for have also picked her up based on underneath me. And she's made the decision when she goes to the women's division next year, she wants to go completely independent, which is fine. Like, I'm perfectly okay with that. Go independent. Now we'll stick with the same ammo sponsor that we have. She's already said that she'll stay with that. Just for the sheer fact of ammunition is provided. I mean, let's face reality. You're shooting 500 rounds a match. That gets expensive really fast.
Yes.
So she's going to stay with that and everything there. But other than that, she's going to venture on her own. And I told her, just carve your own way. Hotels are already paid for on my end, so there's no outage on that. And then match fees, but it won't be a huge deal there. She'll make it.
Good. You gotta nurture that boy, and
yeah,
sure it sounds like she is earning her way for sure.
Yeah, like, I've really beat it into her that you don't get participation awards in this. Like, you will earn everything you get, and it's helped her quite a bit. She's got scholarships now for college, and if she chooses to go, I keep encouraging her, go to trade school, get a trade, and stick with the trade.
Yeah, keep watching Mike Rowe.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? But I'm really protective of her. Like, she said that she's wanted to start a YouTube, and I just no, like,
not yet.
Yeah, not yet. Maybe once you figure out what you're gonna do, then go for it. But not yet.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
So Michael Dunn was asking us if we hunt. You wanna take that, Rooster?
Oh, sure. You know what? In recent years now, I've backed off out of hunting. It just seems like every fall I get so stinking busy. I work up in a northern Canadian mine, and I also manage a small excavation company as well. Plus, help out on the farm for Dad, and it's just and plus I have my kids, and hockey season rolls around in fall, and it just I'll get out for a couple of days a year, it seems like, anymore. But I used to be a very passionate hunter. I used to hunt kites like a crazy man, deer, used to bow hunt, all that kind of stuff. I used to guide in the Yukon, and that was an amazing experience. And there was a time in my life that if I could figure out a way, I would have hunted for a living somehow. But domestication and kids and adult responsibilities, I suppose, really put a kink in that. I think now I'm getting.
We'll get them out there again.
Yeah, I'll get the boys out now and get back into it, and it's a very wholesome thing, I find, and it's very important to teach your kids the outdoors and how to get their hands bloody and gutty and all that kind of stuff to really get in touch with nature, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Now, what about you, Chris? Do you hunt?
Big game. Where in my area, we have to get drawn for both elk and moose, and I haven't gotten drawn. So, and we have to get drawn for mule deer as well. So it's only whitetail. So I hunt whitetail every year. Currently, I'm using a SIG Cross with a custom 18-inch carbon fiber barrel in 308. And I'm going to actually be experimenting with a 200 grain ELDX load for deer hunting this year. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. I usually hunt with the 178 grain ELDX. So I'm getting about 2,450 feet per second out of a 200 grain ELDX. So I figure that's enough for a deer. So,
I think so. Yeah.
You should really talk to Chuck over at Alaskan Ballistics.
Yeah.
Oh man,
He's got some good loads.
Yeah, he's got some nasty loads. So
nice. You tell him to email info at bspodcast.ca and send me some 308 loads.
Yeah. I'll message him as soon as we get off here on Instagram. He's on Instagram. I can send you his over.
Yeah, I'll follow him on Insta.
Chuck is a really nice guy. Very knowledgeable, especially when it comes to the big game hunt and stuff like that.
Nice.
He'll point you in the right directions.
He's probably got some good dangerous game loads too for those big browns up there.
Yeah. He said he generally packs a 10 millimeter just for the penetration for bear.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I generally like to keep at least one on hand just for me when the bear's chewing on my neck.
Yeah, just in case. Yeah. You were talking about 178s for your 308. You're jumping up to 212s. I run 308s or 200s.
Yeah.
I run 178s for my gas 308 for PRS.
Oh, nice.
I stepped up from the 168s over to the 178s. And you talk about a energy factor.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Out at 1,000, 1,200 yards with 178 grain, it just annihilates the target.
Yeah. And what's so stupid about that is that like the furthest, like I hunt in like a heavily treed area. So in the last, I'd say 5 years, the furthest shot I've taken is like 150, 160 yards. And like the closest was like 30 yards with a headshot. it's like I could use an open sight lever gun and be just fine, but you know what, fuck that, I'm taking the Sig Cross anyways. But I just have to correct something here, because even though I'm not a proper Canadian and I don't really like hockey, Yuka Kazi says the Red Wings are pretty good, and he says that's Chicago, isn't it? I forget what Michigan's team is on the ice. So he was actually right. The Detroit Red Wings are Michigan's team because Detroit's in Michigan. And Chicago is the Blackhawks. So
I can almost assure you, almost no one cares. Thank you for
probably not, but just there's something deep in my Canadianness that just couldn't let that stand.
Yes,
I'm actually a big hockey fan. A lot of people don't know this, that I'm a huge hockey fan with being from Milwaukee. It's just like Canada. Hockey is what you do in the winter. Like,
yes, sir.
And arena hockey and arena football are a legit thing still in Wisconsin.
Does Lake Michigan freeze in the winter?
Yeah.
It does?
It does.
That's a big hockey rink.
That is a big hockey rink, yeah.
It does freeze. It just depends on how far it goes down.
Okay. Whether it's safe to walk on.
Yeah. I don't know that I'd walk on it. But you also have the polar plunge that goes on every year on New Year's in Milwaukee in Lake Michigan.
Oh, they do that there?
Yeah. Have you ever done that?
Yeah. My girlfriend and I got into a fight one time. I got the polar plunge right out the front door.
That's great.
Get out, you son of a bitch.
I used to do both that and its opposite in the winter. So I've done the jump in the lake at I don't know what temperature. I was younger, probably somewhere around -10, -15 Celsius. But also the contrast there was a natural hot springs in Whitehorse, Takini Hot Springs, Rooster. Yeah. So we used to go to the Takini Hot Springs because they made a pool off of that hot spring, and you jump into the hot water, and then you jump out and like you dive into the snowbank. And you basically cover yourself in the snowbank for as long as you can stand, and then you dive into the hot spring water again. So that's good for your joints.
Yeah, y'all ain't real right in the head.
No. We also put a snowball on the top of your head, and then dive into the hot springs and like feel it melt over the top of your head.
Fuck that. Talk about brain freeze. Yeah. So there's pictures of me from So my great grandparents are actually from Canada.
Okay.
They floated across Lake Erie during the Great Depression. I tell everybody they floated across Lake Erie. They probably just went to the border and crossed it. Let's face reality. But it's
Seems
funner
more
to tell everybody
reasonable.
they floated over on a refrigerator.
Certainly, yeah.
But so they're from there, and I've got a lot of family up in Montreal and Quebec, and a couple of cousins that played NHL hockey.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, after we get off here, I'll eavesdrop the names of who they are. I'm sure Rooster will know who they are since he's a hockey fan.
Yeah, I probably won't. I only know that the Red Wings are in Detroit.
One played for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Oh, no kidding.
Blue Jays. Blue Jays? That would be baseball, wouldn't it?
Baseball. Yeah.
Or
Toronto Maple Leafs.
Maple Leafs.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I got the wrong.
It's all white and blue. It's all white and blue.
Yeah. It's the same sport, just one's really contacting. But
exactly.
You're good. If you want to go watch Hootie's thing, you're good. I'm not gonna be mad at you.
Well, thanks for joining, Uke.
Yeah, Uke's a good people. I really like Uke. But all right, well, we're down to like the last 5 minutes. So if you want to show your firearm, just in case we get shut down, you can.
You won't get shut down, but I'll show the one that Americans might actually think is neat. So this was purchased sometime around when the original Dirty Harry movie came out. I don't think he got lot number 1 or anything close to that, but anyway, there's that. Now I'll show you our pea shooters in Canada.
Okay.
I'm not even sure which one he's going to bring out. Oh, that's that Sig Cross.
So you might be inclined to say, oh, well, he just pulled out an AR.
All right.
But not quite.
No.
Here, I'll clear it for everybody who wants to be a putt. So it looks very similar to an AR.
Notice the maple leaf, people.
Yeah, of course, right? But as soon as this side looks similar to an AR, but you notice there's no dust cover, no shell deflector. And on this side, it looks slightly different.
Yeah.
So this is kind of modeled after the WK 180B. No, sorry, not the WK, the AR 180B.
Right.
And it is called a WK, which stands for Wolverine and Kodiak, the original company that made it and distributed it in Canada. And it's called the 180C. So it's very similar. You know, this is an AR-15 handguard. This is an AR-15 barrel with a carbine length gas system. It's a piston-driven gas system. This is just a Magpul CTR fixed stock. Waiting on the slingshots.
That's right.
I thought you were watching Hootie Hoo.
You just had to come in and snipe at you.
Exactly. It's AR trigger, AR lower parts kit for the most part. It's an AR MDT grip, but there's no rear charging handle. It's a non-reciprocating side charging handle. But I mean, honestly, it's chambered in 5.56. It's semi-automatic. It takes AR magazines. It gets the job done. And this is the crazy thing. The AR-15 is too dangerous to own in this country.
Right.
But this is completely non-restricted, and I can take it out into the bush. I can hunt with it. I can do whatever the hell I want.
What? How is that different? Is it because it's made in Canada and it's not imported?
Okay, I just want to say one thing first.
Yeah.
Your use of logic in what you're about to
it's going to be futile.
That's right.
Yeah, there is no logic to this.
Okay.
It's not an AR-15.
That's it.
Yes. So in our infinite wisdom, our incredibly knowledgeable politicians decided that the AR-15 is too dangerous to own. And to close the loopholes, they banned the AR-15.
Largely, I think, due to the media in the U.S. sensationalizing the use of the AR-15.
Absolutely.
We in Canada go, oh, that must be true, eh? Yeah.
Eh?
We'll
Absolutely.
do the same thing, eh?
But they banned the AR-15 by name and all of its variants. Then they wanted to close the loophole, so they banned the AR-10 specifically and all of its variants. Well, the AR-18 was not included on that list because it's not popular enough in the United States to warrant that sort of attention. So
is it an 18,
company,
Chris, or is it a 180?
well, the 18 was the original version that they fished around to the military. 180 is the same thing as Colt named the military version the M16 and the civilian version the AR-15. Same idea. So a distributor in Canada out of Verdun, Manitoba, named Wolverine Supplies got together originally with a Canadian manufacturing company called Kodiak Defense, and they brought the 180B in and said, hey, can you kind of copy this, but also at the same time make it a novel design?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they did.
See, this is what I was talking to you before about bending. Manufacturers finding ways around our ridiculous laws. And honestly, Canadian manufacturers have really stepped up trying to
Getting creative,
to be creative and get the Canadian gun market what we need to keep going in our sports, because so much has been taken away from us. They're really doing a hell of a job trying to compensate for that.
I like the design of that. It would be cool if we could get one of those imported to the U.S., but I have no idea how hard that would be.
Well, I have to be honest with you. It is a neat idea. However, because of the conditions that they're making these under, first of all, this in its factory configuration with a mil-spec trigger and a mil-spec AR-15 buffer and an adjustable buffer, and not even Magpul. It's like a Chinese knockoff Magpal. And it still retails for $1,500 Canadian.
Yeah,
that's only $800 US.
Well, it's a little more.
Well, how many ARs can you get for $700-800? Like that are.
Well, what does an M&P 15 sell for?
Right.
$650, $700.
Yeah. See, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
so this is the guy.
So I'm gonna throw this little bit of shade out there. I'm not a Smith & Smesson fan.
Okay.
I'm really not. I won't go into full detail on it here.
That's fine. It's understood.
But they were all for Clinton ban, and so as far as my eyes can see from it, unless it's a used one, then I'm picking up on the used market from the shop.
They lost you.
Yep. I will not buy anything new from them where the manufacturer makes the money from me. I will buy it from a third-party local shop where the local shop is making the money that they have out of it. But I'm still very, very Jewish with it on my money because I work very hard for my money.
Right. And
so I'm very Jewish on what I spend money on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. So this is your guide rod spring bolt carrier, and there's the bolt. Now the bolt is also proprietary. It's not an AR-15 bolt. It's essentially the same thing. I mean, there's your cam pin. You have a free floating bolt.
Same concept.
Yeah, it's the same concept. But I mean, you can see this looks very reminiscent of the AR-180, right?
MC says he would buy one too.
Yeah, the concept is actually quite nice. Again, unfortunately, the conditions under which a lot of these are being manufactured, the quality's not there.
I wonder if you could convert one to a belt fed.
You get a good machinist, you can convert anything to anything.
I suppose, yeah.
Is it a bufferless bolt carrier system?
You're gonna have to help me out with that. What do you mean?
So does it have so it's piston system? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So like your standard gas AR-15s, even if they're a buffer or a piston system, they still have a buffer tube system. Does that have a buffer tube system?
Oh, I see what you're saying. That's what you mean. No, it is bufferless.
See, that's a cool concept because you could make a super snubby, shorty AR-15 that.
Now, the reason that we don't here in Canada is simply trade for a case of Budweiser and a couple third string hockey players.
Deal.
The reason that we don't make shorties out of this is our regulations for semi-automatics require a minimum of an 18.5 inch barrel. Otherwise, it falls into the restricted category. So we can make shorties and we can make super shorties out of these, but they become restricted and you can only use them at a gun range. And the restricted category, you have to register the serial number. In the non-restricted category, you don't register the serial number. You don't have to register the rifle at all. And you can take it wherever you want, hunting or anything like that. So we just keep the barrels over 18.5 inches.
Oh,
but you can see the upper there. Like that's where the bolt carrier and
it's a standard AR-15 upper minus the spot milled out for the buffer tube.
Exactly. Exactly. And yeah, you can see the bottom.
And even the upper looks like a Bear Creek Arsenal upper. I don't know if you know who Bear Creek Arsenal is.
I'm afraid I don't.
No, I haven't heard that.
They're out of South Carolina or North Carolina. Somebody help me out in the comments. I think they're in North Carolina, possibly South Carolina. I might be completely wrong, and they're in West Virginia. I don't know. But they're a less expensive AR-15 manufacturer, generally speaking. And they make side chargers like that.
Oh yeah.
But the crazy thing about it is, as cheap as they are, they're not very accurate, but they are so reliable. I mean, just will eat anything that it takes. So MC has a question. Are your uppers and lowers serialized? Whereas in the US, we only have to serialize our lower receivers.
Yeah, negative. We're the same as you. So we only serialize the lower.
But so all your rifles go to our ATF to get classified, right?
Well, so we have what's called an FRT. It's the Firearms Reference Table. So when a manufacturer, for example, when they wanted to bring this out onto the market, they submit all of their specifications to their RCMP's Canadian Firearms Program. They analyze it, make sure that, and they essentially determine what category it's going to fit into, and then they document that in the Firearms Reference Table. So with the specs that this one was sold under, it is classified as non-restricted on the Firearms Reference Table. Now, the question MC was asking, are uppers and lowers serialized? I know exactly where he's going with that. And yes, the answer is, this is how stupid things are in this country. Technically speaking, I can have my lower and my upper that is non-restricted. I can purchase a second upper completed with a, let's say, 9-inch 300 blackout barrel. And as long as I do not attach it to the lower, it is completely legal. And if I do attach it to the lower, and once I attach it to the serialized part of the gun,
it's then, folks, that babies start dying.
That's right.
Yes.
But
nuclear explosions around the world happen.
Yes.
Yes.
But I technically have 28 days to register it with the government. So if I put it on just once in a while and I just go shoot it, I'm just testing out the upper. That's not the standard upper for that gun. So it's not registered or serialized. And as long as I never permanently attach that upper, I technically don't have to register it.
Wrap your head around that.
Now that's a loophole. That's a legitimate loophole.
That makes my brain hurt.
I know. And it's the dumbest ass ever. Now, that being said, if I just put the upper on it for the day and went hunting, still illegal.
Yeah.
Because I still am only allowed to shoot it where a restricted firearm would be allowed to be shot.
So,
28 days.
So you guys aren't like the US where you can say, my backyard is my private gun range, are you?
Well, not within city limits for sure. I mean, Rooster can, but in order to be able to shoot restricted firearms on his range, he has to get it certified through the chief firearms office. If he doesn't get it certified, then he can only shoot non-restricted firearms.
See, that's so fucking weird. I'm sorry.
I know, it's fucked, man.
My brain hurts.
The problem is you guys know about guns, so you start applying logic to it just naturally, and you're like, that makes no fucking sense. But,
well, it's the same with our politicians here.
Yeah.
With it, like, so even though, like, what I do on my day job, I also do gunsmith for the shop. I independently gunsmith under my own FFL. Cut my own barrels, cut barrels for people, so on and so forth. And these politicians, like, just the other day saying that the round from a AR-15 travels 3 times the speed of anything else.
Right.
9mm blows the lungs clean out of the body.
I've got one round that goes 3 times the speed of something, and it's a 20 tactical or 20 practical, 20 tactical. It's a Wildcat cartridge.
Yeah.
They're called 2 different things, same thing. It's 223 neck down to a 20 cal. Generally, you load it with like a 35 grain 20 cal projectile, and it screams at like 5,000 feet per second. Screams, and that's the only thing I've got that goes even remotely close enough to 3 times the speed of something, and it's only going 3 times the speed of like 22 long rifle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah. Well, there's that sensationalism again, right?
Yeah.
Just to pander to voters and all that bullshit. It's just it's pathetic and sickening. Like how I cannot believe. Sorry, I'm going off on a little bit of a rant here, but I cannot believe that there's so many people out there that don't realize that their government is directly calling them stupid. As much as, right?
That's part of the problem with, I think, anything in the firearms community of government affiliates saying, well, this, that, and the third is how it is, when in all reality, I don't know any politician that's a ballistician. I don't know a single one that's ever became a ballistician. Yeah. Went to college and studied the art of ballistics or the art of manufacturing firearms, or even how to work on aluminum in the sense of how you manufacture this stuff out of aluminum. Because I'm sure if you ask some of them what's the melting point of aluminum, they're going to say, oh, it's 3,000 degrees, when in all reality, it's 375 degrees.
Mm.
But what do I know? I only worked in an aluminum manufacturer as an engineer for so long.
Well, the long and the short of it is they just don't give a shit.
Exactly.
You know, they can lead people like the damn Pied Piper, and people are stupid enough or gullible and ignorant enough that they just follow along willingly, blindly. And why wouldn't they push it? Why wouldn't government push that to the next level? They're always pushing that envelope. Let's see what we can do now. Let's see what we can. Hey, let's close down shops and gyms and everything else, and just to see if they'll do it. And sure enough, we do it. So, like, just keep pushing. And I don't know. I'm waiting for the breaking point, but I'm not sure when that'll be or what that's going to look like. But I'll bet it's messy.
Well, I'm a little bit more optimistic than Kurt in that I think what's more liable to happen is we are just going to have a change in government, and this is the cycle, right? I mean, you guys get a Republican
You're such a
government.
good Canadian.
I know, right? But
Yeah.
it's the same in the US.
It could always be worse, eh?
You guys get a Republican government and you get left alone for a couple of years.
Right.
You get a Democratic government and you're put through a whole bunch of stupid shit, and you have to sit there and listen to your president say that 9mm is going to blow the lungs clean out of the body. For us, it's we get a liberal government and we have to listen to, firearms have no place in Canada, and we have no right to self-defense and all this kind of horse shit.
Yeah.
We get a conservative government, we get left alone for a couple of years,
Yep. That's
Correct.
Same cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the exact same cycle no matter how you go. But you does bring up a very good point here.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that's all it is. That's the only logical part. Like, we're trying to find the logic in the legislation. It actually is incredibly logical. The logic to their legislation on both sides of our fences is that the people who don't know about guns, it buys their vote.
Yep.
Correct.
And that's terrible.
Well, and then I think there's more problems in this country than it is firearms. Because when I grew up in the 90s, early 2000s. And there was none of this. I'm all for equal rights for everybody. Like, if you and your husband want to own full autos and
defend your pot plants with AR-15s.
Yeah,
that's right.
I don't care. Like, I don't care if you want to be trans. I don't care if you want to be lesbian, straight, interracial marriage. None of that bothers me.
Yeah,
none of it bothers me at all. Because it's not my business.
Do what you do. Just don't push it on other people.
Yeah.
That's all.
It's not my business. But
yeah,
you get these extremists that say, and it's on both sides of our political party here. It's not just one. It's not just the other.
Yeah,
it is.
That says, well, if you don't like it this way, then you're this, or you're racist, or you're a bigot, or you're this, that, and the third. Instead of just letting people do their own thing and be their own person and saying, fuck you, I'm going to do what I want to do. And people are too caught up in
others. Yeah.
People are too caught up in all this stuff. Like,
but I've been saying for years now, you know what? The internet and social media are the worst things to happen to mankind. And that's exactly what have given these weak people platform to run their damn mouths, snoop into everybody else's business, and demand that other people live their lives like they do.
Exactly.
Did you just assume my gender?
You damn right I did, you bald-headed prick.
I will say just one thing on this subject, because I know that you don't want to sit on it for too long, but the only thing I will say is sometimes we in the gun industry shoot ourselves in the foot.
Amen.
I agree.
I think a major way that we shoot ourselves in the foot is when it comes to gun rights. We're like individual freedoms, liberty, rights. It's my and vaccines, the same thing. It's my right, my choice. And I completely agree with that. Like, fuck you. Anybody who doesn't agree with that is out of their goddamn mind.
Yeah.
But some of our community turns right around and tells women that they don't have the rights with their bodies, and tells that a gay man, he doesn't have the right to, have sex with another man.
Just do what they do.
Yeah. Like, you either believe in personal freedoms and you can do what you want with your body, or and you can own the property that you want because you have your own civil liberties, or you don't believe in that.
I agree.
And I think our community,
so
our community needs to quit the double standarding, I think, and we would get a lot further.
That's really what I was meaning there. Like, I hate the term like libetard and this, that, or the other, because if you look at like how my values are, where you do whatever the hell you want to do and just leave me alone, that's a very libertarian, old school libertarian way.
It's proper libertarian, yeah.
And now it's so mixed that it's no longer the proper libertarian way. It's, oh, well, you can't be a libertarian because a true libertarian doesn't exist. When in all reality...
Right. Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I just think the definition of all of that stuff has become so unraveled that nobody knows their ass from a hole in the ground anymore.
Yeah,
correct.
I think that the big problem is that inherently pure libertarianism is anarchistic.
Yes.
And so people think that you can't be a libertarian unless you're an anarchist. Well, that's not true. Everything is like, if you live in a black and white world, well, then you can't be a libertarian without being anarchistic. But I mean, if fucking Dungeons and Dragons can have like a chaotic, good alignment, whatever the fuck it's called, then like, why can't I be a libertarian who believes in the rule of law?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's funny how that stuff has to be so bloody rigid.
Yeah, it's just
like, yet stuff like gender is fluid.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh, fuck me.
And and that's the problem. Like, I don't know where we went wrong as a society, as a world society, in that
internet.
But I don't think it's so much the internet as it is
participation trophies.
Well, you know what? There's
both of those are a symptom.
There's a lot of people out there that haven't been smacked in the mouth enough, and I will take that to my grave as a belief.
What is it, Mike Tyson says?
I died one time, and my parents told me to get up and walk it off.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd be all right.
Exactly. Exactly.
We grew up working in a tobacco field. Literally, when we got off the school bus, and I mean, this is literally like every day. Like we get off the school bus, and we'd get our bus whooped.
And that's in the 90s.
Yeah.
Imagine in the 80s or the 30s when Kurt grew up.
Yeah, I mean,
and I raised myself from age 6.
Like, like it is what it is. Like, I don't think it hurt me any more than anything else. Like, pain is only temporary.
You know what? It built your character, didn't it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It made me fight for everything I've got.
Yeah, for sure. And it made you believe in standing up for what you have and what you represent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think MC made a good comment when he said removal of personal responsibility has led to a moral decline and a dependence on other people.
Huge. Yep.
I didn't even see that comment. There was a bunch that popped in there.
Yeah. We've apparently sparked a lot of people that want to make a comment on this.
Yeah.
And I just want to clarify about the whole gender comment. I am not with that gender fluidity crap. I'm totally with you that Michael, that gender is gender. You are what you are, and that is it.
You know what, man? My wife is a social worker. She grew up in that climate. She worked for our local queer organization for like almost a decade. Mm-hmm. And the way that it used to be, it was they described a difference between sex and gender. Sex is what you are. It's biology. It's not a matter of fucking opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
Gender, they used to describe it as how you feel. And that's a spectrum, Alfred Kinsey and all that shit. Right. And you can be a man and you can feel more female inside. You can be a female. You can feel more male inside. And I'm like, what's the fucking problem with that? There's no problem with that. No. Because if you are sexually a male, right, you expect that people are going to call you he. And the old, call it like the old queens, they never had a fucking problem with that because they had a grasp on reality.
But I think that's really the problem now is instead of the reality of it being do whatever you want to do, I don't care. Everybody's so worried about, oh, well, does Chris look at me like I'm her, or does Chris see me as him? Mm-hmm. And do I really value Chris's opinion that much?
That's a big one.
That's huge, man. Like why does it matter?
Yeah.
Why does it matter to you what we might think you are?
It has no
you.
Yeah. So I approach Bullets for Bucks is here.
Hey, Bullets.
Bullets.
I don't know if you guys follow him. Check out Bullets for Bucks. Everybody in here, check out Bullets for Bucks also. He's a really nice guy. He does a lot of hunting. He's actually linked up with Alaskan Ballistics. He was just up there hunting in
Are they both out of Alaska?
No, Bullets for Bucks. Bullets, where are you at? I can't remember. I think he's in North Dakota.
He's where the Bucks is.
North Dakota, I think.
Oh, man, that's not far away.
No.
Or Wyoming. It's either North Dakota or Wyoming. There we go.
There it is.
That's not that far either.
Excellent.
Super nice guy. Super nice guy.
Very cool.
MC's got the solution for all of this entire conversation.
Where to view the soul?
There. Gender solution. Just view the person's soul. Sure.
Yeah. I'm just going to end this part of the conversation by saying that I like the next person that assumes my follicular capability is going to fucking get it.
Hey, Eagle Run, can you post a link to their channel? It's in the description above. I know you're an admin on there.
Who's that?
Eagle Run 23. He just jumped in here. He's one of my admins.
Nice. Death to furries.
Agreed.
That's a whole different animal there.
I just tell people that, I'm 6'7", so I just tell people that the air is too thin up here for me to be able to grow anything up top, but this is just low enough that I can grow it. So
yeah, but until you can get a real beard, it's still a weak ass beard.
Ooh, shots fired.
Can you imagine though, like the whole bald look with like the beard that comes down to here? It just looks like I've got an upside down mohawk all the time.
So until 2 years ago, my hair was down to my lower back. My job doesn't care with what I do because we're not really in the public. They don't really care about our appearance somewhat. And so I shaved my head completely bald and donated all my hair.
Did you?
And so I walked into work and my beard was down to here. And they're like, what the hell happened to you? You look like a skinhead. So I ended up trimming my beard like way, way down. And now that my hair's growing back out, I'm growing back down my beard. Let's see which one gets to my belly button first.
Why did they have to go like right to skinhead? Like they couldn't have said you look like a Viking first, or
it's just public appearance, I guess.
Fucking dicks.
But it is what it is. It is what it is. Like,
yeah. MC is 100%. He says that too much of my brain mass pushed out all my hair follicles. That's 100% true.
I think you're being a little oversensitive about your lack
Did
of
Eagle
hair there,
did Eagle just call us ballistically challenged? That's awesome.
That is great.
We need to do a special ballistically challenged episode now.
I think so.
Yeah, we'll have to get Eagle Run on there.
Yeah, man.
Everything. Eagle.
Just bring a whole group of you crazy Kentucky and Tennesseans up here on the channel.
Eagle is out of Texas.
That makes sense. His logo there, yeah.
Yeah, he's out of Texas. Hootie Hoo is out of Tennessee.
Yeah.
Bullets for Bucks is Wyoming. All these people have great channels. Obviously, a lot of ballistics. Dude, I've got the best viewers here. Like, I've got a really small channel, but man, I have some of the best viewers.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
I think so.
I would say so.
They're all wild.
Where's Yukai out of?
I'm in Kentucky. Where are you? Are you in Kentucky, you? Because
how dare you?
We're finding out new things about the listeners today.
That's right.
I know Ron Wayne. So Ron Wayne is on the other side of Kentucky.
It's just like, I'm from New Jersey. Our laws suck.
E-Rock is Uke is in New Jersey. But Ron Wayne, he came into the channel. He's on the other side of the state from me.
Oh, okay.
And I did not realize that until last night when we were on another live channel and we were talking. So like a magnet, I just bring all the talent, you know?
Yeah, it appears that way.
Yeah.
Love it.
It's the beard game. It's the beard game.
I think there's stuff in my beard tonight. I got to go have a shower soon.
Thanks, Eagle. Yeah, I'm willing to bet that like 100% of your viewers have never heard of us before. Like we're pretty staunchly Canadian content, and we're I don't know how.
Well, what we need you to do, what we need all you and Rooster both to come down here and do, is be the first 2 Canadians to come do the mile challenge at the range.
I would love to.
All right.
So add that to the list, Chris.
We'll have to use their rifles, though. Hey, Rooster, it's a pain in the ass bringing ours over.
It is kind of a pain in the ass, but I mean, you fill out your Form 6, you should be good to go. I don't know whether there's a time restriction on it or not. Yeah. But
so, what is the mile challenge?
5 shots, 1 mile.
On the what size target? A plate, I assume.
Like whiteboard size. Here, hold on. I'll show you.
Okay. Shh, Eagle, don't tell anyone we're not allowed to have guns up here.
Yeah. So this is my whiteboard of knowledge that I use.
Excellent.
I have my notes on. It's like the size of my person.
Like 15 by 30, 12 by 24 sort of deal?
16
like the tree of life.
16 by 34, I think.
16 by 34. I might have a little bit of a challenge from that.
We've got a standard.
If you brought the 33XC, like you're not even warming up at 1,600 meters.
Yeah, the cold bore shot at King of 2 Miles this year was at 1 mile, and it was a 16-inch circle.
I've got a standard IPSC out there too.
That was the cold bore.
Nice. That was the cold bore shot. Yeah. So, is there a caliber restriction on that?
As long as you're not cheating and bringing a 50 BMG,
Oh, well, I don't have a 50 BMG because they're, prohibited in Canada.
Really?
Man.
Yes, sir.
So can you have a 416?
Dude, they banned them the same time they banned the AR. Yeah, they banned them all at the same time as the AR-15s and everything else.
Yeah.
34 inches is like a gallon. Eagle Run is
well, this is the thing about Canada. Up until when was it, Kurt? Like the late 70s or early 80s, we were pretty much imperial, the same as the US.
Yeah, absolutely.
So nowadays, especially old guys like Kurt and middle-aged guys like me, we basically do both.
That's right. Yeah.
Eagle, do you want to jump on for a few minutes? We got like 15 minutes and we're going to close it out.
All right.
Get on here.
Canada does allow tannerite there, Mr. Carpenter. And that's really weird. There's so many other things that they've taken away from us, but somehow we can still have tannerite.
I got a box of it back here somewhere. I just don't know where it is.
Yeah, because you're hiding it from the government. What's imperial? Yeah.
What's imperial? It's the opposite.
Isn't that margarine?
Yeah. Speak American.
Yeah, I have the greatest viewers in my chat. Like I really
do.
They're great.
Yeah, so the thing about tannerite, and here again, like if you want to try to apply logic, so explosives, we have to have a license to own explosives. But because tannerite is a binary explosive and inert in its individual components, it is legal.
There's that logic thing again.
Yep.
But so what do they classify? Can you guys reload your ammo?
Yes.
Okay. What do they classify primers and powder as it?
Well, they are classified within the Explosives Act. And it's funny. We have to have a what we call a possession and acquisition license. It's a firearms license here in Canada. In order to buy factory ammunition, loaded ammunition, we have to present our license.
Yeah. We
can buy individual components without a license.
Unless they are explosive.
How
we need a license to buy powder and primers.
No, sir, we do not.
I have always had to show my license for powder.
That's because you shop at Cabela's.
No, I've
communists.
Even at the other store. I've always had to show my license for powder and primers. Are you sure? Okay.
Yes,
Does
sir.
your Cabela's there? Do they ask you for your phone number every time you check out?
They asked for our
Yes.
postal code.
That's right. Sorry, Chris. Yeah.
Which
Postal
is
code? Or?
it's the same as our zip code for you guys.
Yeah. Well, I don't. Yeah, I get that, but the one here always asks for your phone number, and I always tell them I changed my phone number. I don't know what it is, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Well, we need it." I was like, "Well, piss off."
I just always give them a general postal code that's out somewhere
Right.
in like buttfuck rural. I think it's Weyburn, Saskatchewan, actually. Like,
I give him my ex-wife's address. Go raid that one.
that's hilarious.
But so here's another question for you. Have you guys looked into the Pristine rifle actions, the Canadian base? I know y'all are big MBT fans.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm Pristine is friends of the channel.
Okay.
And friends of mine. I know all the guys over there. I've actually had them on the channel too.
Is that right? Okay. You know what? I've seen one. I've read about it. They're ramping up their sort of advertising campaign. I really don't know much about them. I know I think I know that they're a 9-lug design, a big bolt, and kind of like the
6-lug.
6-lug? Okay.
Yeah.
Sort of like the Weatherby Mark Fives. Same sort of concept, I guess. But aside from that, I really don't know much about them yet.
I think they should just send us one and we'll test it out for them.
You know what? I think that's a great idea.
I
insist. Poor Eagle.
Yeah, Eagle, I've been trying to get Eagle in contact with them. But I think I just got lucky with mine. But had to put that build on hold. Lily, she totaled out a car last week. Some jackass hit her head on. And so she totaled out a car last week, so I had to put that build on hold. But I'm ready for it, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And what would you chamber one in?
6 Gay Tiger. I'm all for the Gay Tiger. Like, I love the 6 GT. I absolutely love it.
A friend of ours had one a custom build made last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Gotcha.
Was it a Curtis action?
Curtis custom action built by EM Precision Rifles up in Alberta here. Yeah.
So can you guys get like MPA up there? Masterpiece on?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
What about Constitutional Carpenter? So is it like that there too? Like, can you buy ammo at your local grocery store? Or does it have to be like...
No, you can't even buy beer at our grocery stores, man.
Yeah.
What?
That's regulated.
Yeah.
True story.
Well, especially the part of Canada that we come from. Like, you got to understand, our city was founded in 1912, Kurt?
Yeah, I think so. Something like that.
By a group of like religious fundamentalist Puritans.
Yes.
Our city was a dry
driving
city.
oxen.
Yeah, exactly. Our city was a dry city for the first several decades of its existence.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, well, I say that, but where I live in Kentucky, there's still towns around here that are sundown towns.
Oh, really?
It is?
Yeah, and there's still dry cities and dry counties where I am.
Oh.
But see, we can't buy alcohol on Sundays. Like, no matter. But if you go to a restaurant, you can buy beer, but you can't buy hard liquor.
So we have things called off sales, which are different than the general liquor stores. The government-run liquor stores close at like 6 p.m. And for all of us growing up, it's only been like, what, Kurt, the last 7 or 8 years that this has changed. But for most of our lives, when the government liquor stores closed at 6 p.m., you had no choice but to go to an off sale. And an off sale, they had a day price and a night price.
Oh, yes.
If they were
you were too lazy to get your ass off the couch before
6 p.m.,
you paid the price.
See, that's crazy.
Right, because they would boost their liquor price by like 30% as soon as the government-run liquor stores closed, because you had nowhere else to go.
That's right.
See, that's why.
I got a question. MC said, I tried ordering Canadian bacon and the waitress looked at me like I was dropped on my head. Correct me if I'm wrong. What you guys call Canadian bacon, we just call back bacon, don't we, Rooster?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So we don't even call it Canadian bacon. We just call it back bacon.
So what do you call American bacon?
Side bacon.
Yeah. It's non-existent.
Well, because Canadian bacon is it's a circular bacon. It's made from the backstrap of the pig. So it's back bacon. And side bacon is made from, is it rib or is it flank? It's flank.
I'm not sure.
But it's made from the side of the pig anyway. So there you go.
Yeah.
Man, we're learning so much about the difference between our two countries
It is. We're going to have to do this again, because I hate keeping you guys super late. I know you got to work in the morning and you got to work in the morning.
Yeah, no issue.
We're going to have to do this again. Like,
hey, man, it's a good conversation as far as I'm concerned.
It is. This has been probably one of the funnest
sliced swine.
Belly bacon, sliced swine.
Well, yeah, it's up to you. I mean, we could keep going for a while longer if you wanted, or if you wanted to close out, we're good. We could, like you say,
we'll close out at the 2 hour mark, because I got to get up and help Lily. I gotta help Lily with stuff. So she's got
being Canadian. We'll stick around and chat with you even if we wanted to leave. So
it would be rude. We're not that rude.
Yeah.
You guys say sorry for everything.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah. Sorry for
bacon is gender.
Bacon is bacon, gender is gender.
No truer words were spoken.
Yeah, but that's a bad example, Mike, because back bacon ain't side bacon.
Man.
But if you assume my bacon, I'm not going to get upset about it.
Yeah, we're going to have to do this again. This has been a really fun live chat.
That's good.
So Eagle said he's going to listen to one of your podcasts before bed. Which one should he listen to?
Not the latest one.
The last one. Yeah.
No.
So he was live at King of 2 Mile. So he was in like a fucking field in Alberta. I was at one of our sponsors' trade show booths at TACCOM in Toronto,
and got attacked
while an exhibitor party. Yeah, right. While an exhibitor party was going on, and we had so many technical difficulties, it was an absolute shit show. What I would say is, who do you think is probably our most interesting one lately?
I think the Marginette was really good.
Sean was pretty good. Yeah, Sean was good.
Great guy.
He's not too far back. I got to look at our own shit. Like, basically, we record it and then it just leaves my brain.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
You just throwing shade about Charles Bacon. He says Irish bacon is a superior cut.
Well, that's just bacon that's made in whiskey.
That's right.
I don't actually know. Is that even true?
Let's go with that until we find out differently.
There we go. Rick's was a good one.
Yeah, that's right.
Though he
cut out half the time.
True, yeah. Go for BS session number 14. We interviewed the proprietor of the Canadian Rimfire Precision Series, a guy by the name of Rick Kettigback, and he's a really good dude.
Yeah, we got to get you guys down here, man. It would be fun to have you actually be able to shoot fun firearms in the U.S.
Amen.
Yeah, it always is. Are you going to be going to SHOT Show?
So I will not. You got to realize I'm a single dad of 2 kids, and my son is 4. and my daughter, well, she'll be an adult tomorrow.
Right.
Oh, good. So she can take care of your 4-year-old while you go to SHOT Show.
If it was that simple, if his
I know,
mother,
right?
if his
Yeah.
mother was that willing.
Yeah.
Zayden, my son, just turned 4 the other day on the. I'm a dad. I don't have to remember this stuff. I pay the bills. I make sure the bills are paid.
So
That's
if
your job.
if Eagle's going to go, then he basically applies for SHOT Show as media, and he does it under the Bending Ballistics name.
There, that solution right there.
Yeah.
Eagle, it sounds like might be making a road trip with you.
There you go.
There
I
you
mean,
go.
Rooster and I are both going to SHOT Show this year. And it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. So if you're there, man, we'll meet up with you 100%. SHOT Show's in Vegas. Yukai is asking.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, yeah. We'll have to figure it out and get it all going. It's in what, February?
January 18, 19, 20, Kurt?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, last day's on the 20th, and is it a week long or is it only 3 days?
I think it's 3 or 4 days. I'm just looking it up right
Yeah.
now. 17th through the 20th, so it's 4 days.
Go. There you go.
Eagle, I will copyright my name if you use my name.
Well, like honestly, like any of these guys that are running YouTube channels that are listening right now, like you can get in as media.
You qualify, yeah.
Yeah, and like if you don't want to like cover SHOT Show as media, who gives a fuck? Just like register as media and go to SHOT Show. It's actually very cool.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm friends with Matt from Demo Rants. From
Matt Carricker?
Really?
Yes.
You know, you have to come to SHOT Show so you can do an introduction for us.
So
Exactly.
he was literally just here a couple of days ago when I was texting you about coming on live. Matt was here because he was in Bowling Green at LS Fest, which is 30, 45 minutes from my house. It was about an hour and a half where he was in Bowling Green. But yeah, he was just here.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have to see. I mean, I got to meet Matt Carricker just because he's a celebrity, obviously. I'm going to see Scott's. I'm assuming you're talking about Kentucky Ballistics. I want to see his scar up close.
So Scott's an hour-ish or so-ish from me.
Oh yeah, nice.
So,
And I ran into AK Jesus last year at SHOT Show.
Did you?
I was eating lunch and I heard from behind me, I heard, "Are you who I think I am?" So of course I have to like turn around and look. I didn't even realize he had been fucking eating lunch at the table right behind me for like 10 minutes prior to that. So yeah.
Good deal.
That's great.
Put a thumb in it. Yeah, Yukai Kazi, put a thumb in it. That's bonkers. That when I saw that, man. So his 50 blew up. What was it?
Yeah,
Like 2 weeks after I had a gun blow up on me.
I think so, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it wasn't long. Yeah.
Like it was way too fresh in my mind. I couldn't watch that video for a couple of weeks after it came out because like I had just had one blow up. Now, thankfully, mine didn't blow up near as catastrophically as his did. I just looked like a pockmarked teenager because I just took gunpowder in the face.
Gunpowder freckles.
Yeah, I didn't take any parts of the gun in my lung or my neck.
Yeah.
Just gotta shove a thumb in it.
Yeah, man, like, what a thing, hey? And like good for them for thinking about putting a thumb in it because he wouldn't be around if they didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No kidding.
But
Like partially severed his carotid, like that's fucking crazy.
yeah,
Most people don't make it.
Yep.
Yeah, and like his dad is there with all of his stuff. So him and his dad kind of built that entire channel together, which is great. That's actually one of my biggest fears because I go to the range by myself generally. That's actually one of my biggest fears is something happening down there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's a stroke away from the house and from houses in general. I mean, it's on the farm, that we own, but I mean, it's a stroke down there, and there's not quite the best cell phone service down there.
No.
Yeah.
But all reality. But Fort Campbell flies over it all the time, so I might be able to do like a mirror SOS. Hey, I'm bleeding out.
I guess the moral of the story is if you're in a remote location, don't fuck around with slap rounds.
Yeah.
Right.
So Uke, I do take her with me, but a lot of the times when I go throughout the week, she is at school. So she's got to finish high school before she can go with me throughout the week. So
you'll get there. Probably a good idea to have somebody there with you. Hey.
Yeah, it probably would be. But I always text like my stepdad and my cousin that live relatively close enough that, hey, I'm down here. If you hear something really funky going on,
just like screaming.
Like, oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck.
Yeah. I always keep a med kit. I've been trying to get Ron Wayne to come over and come hit the range. He defends the eastern side of Kentucky, so the east needs to meet the west and figure out who's the best.
Nice.
There you go.
I mean, like, we don't wear shoes on this side of the state, so I don't know if you wear shoes over there.
I wear shoes as little as possible up here.
In your dojo.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a running joke amongst Kentucky is that they don't wear shoes here.
Is it really?
Yeah.
So is this supposed to be like a Flatfoot Hillbilly joke, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's another channel that I follow that she was talking about things you only see on Eastern Kentucky. So I commented in her comment section. The western side of Kentucky wants to know if you wear shoes. So
nice. Ron said he's a tactical flip-flop guy, man. I'm 100%. Everybody always looks at me funny because I'm wearing flip-flops on the range. I was at Volusia Sports in Orlando a little while ago, and they were like you need to wear closed-toed shoes. And I'm like, dude, like I teach rifle courses in flip-flops. Like this is I'm not a new shooter. This is not necessary. And he's like, well, you know what? You're signed in the waiver, so I don't really care. He goes, but don't come crying to me when you get a piece of brass stuck in your foot. And I was like, man,
that's what I like to hear.
I think that's such an overreaction. You know?
Yeah. It is. Yeah.
Constitutional Carpenter is Jerusalem Cruisers.
We just call them Jesus sandals.
Yeah.
That was actually my nickname for a long time at work was Dirty Jesus, because my beard and my long hair, and I'm covered in tattoos. So,
sacrilege.
Nice. Do you convert water to wine too?
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
But all right, well, we're gonna close it out. I'll let you guys say your piece, and
our piece. Well, you know, first of all, like, thanks for having us on. This was a lot of fun. We haven't done a 2-hour podcast in quite a long time. Mm-hmm. If anybody is interested in finding out who we are, you can go to bspodcast.ca. That .ca stands for Canada. bspodcast.ca. All of our content gets put on there except for the audio version of our podcast. We do an audio version. If anybody wants that, it's on iTunes, it's on Spotify. Just do a search for Ballistically Speaking. You'll find us. If you want to follow we do reviews and live on location videos on YouTube. So you can find both our live podcast and our regular video content on our YouTube channel, which is Ballistically Speaking. You can follow us on the Instagrams at Ballistically Speaking, right, Kurt? That's what it is?
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
And we're on Facebook as Ballistically Speaking Podcast. We are on Rumble, but we aren't uploading our content there right now for some stupid reason. But I'm sure eventually we will.
We've been a little bit busy this year, buddy.
That is a link to their channel right there.
Oh, yeah, perfect. You got our YouTube link. Appreciate that. That's awesome. And we record every Friday at 7 Central Daylight Time. The reason I say that is because in Saskatchewan, much like Arizona, we do not observe daylight savings. So we are 7 p.m. Central Daylight Time year round.
See, that's so weird.
Yeah. I knew that threw you for a loop today.
Yeah, was like, no, you're on Central Time. And then,
Yeah.
no,
Well, we are on Central Time, but we're on Central Daylight Time.
You're on the wrong Central Time.
Well, yeah. But you know what though, man? Like I have never accidentally slept in during any solstice.
So how does it feel talking to somebody from the future?
Yeah, exactly, right.
Well, guy from New Zealand's got you beat, I'm afraid.
Yeah, we
talked to him tomorrow.
What was the name? What was the name of his range?
Taranaki.
Taranaki.
Long range.
Yeah, Taranaki long range out of New Zealand. They got some pretty cool shit.
Absolutely, yeah. So in addition to what Chris said, I want to thank you, and I want to thank all your great viewers. This is fantastic.
Yeah, they made this great.
Absolutely, all the good humor and everything. Shots fired. That was great. And aside from that, you know what? Get kids out shooting. Introduce new people to shooting it and firearms, the firearm sports. You'd be surprised. I mean, if you've never done it, I suppose you'd be surprised how many people really embrace the shooting sports when they're introduced to it, of course, properly, right? They don't, a lot of people are intimidated by it, but once they get into it with someone, especially that they trust, man, they're introduced to a whole new world, and they're just, I've seen the ear to ear grin. I don't know how many times. It's a great sight to behold.
Also, if anyone wants to, please pray for us that our new conservative leader wins an election and we get a new government. Pierre Poilievre for Prime Minister, for anybody who follows Canadian politics. And if anybody is interested, this Friday, like I say, at 7, which is 8 p.m. Central Standard, we are your sister's hot, Wayne. There, I said it.
Well, we need pictures of Wayne's sister then next time.
Pictures, or it didn't happen.
Right.
We are interviewing Carly Kurtalitsa, who is the vice president of Apex Optics. They're a new Canadian company. They've got a precision-based scope on the Canadian market. I believe they're trying to get into the American market as well.
That's right.
And we're going to be talking to her and talking about getting new people into shooting. We're going to be talking to her about being a woman in the gun industry. So if anybody's interested in that conversation, it should be a good one. Great stream. Eat more bacon. Is that back bacon or side bacon, Ron?
Well, there's a guy in my chat that normally comes in. His name is the goddamn bacon. And I was waiting on him to pop in
bacon Tyrannosaurus.
That's right.
I was waiting on him to pop in here during the bacon chat, but he never did. He's a really good guy. He's super funny.
Based on just what Rooster just said, if there is anybody out there who can do a Jesse Ventura impersonation,
oh yes, get a hold.
Email us info@bspodcast.ca. I am looking for any Minnesotans out there, or if you're not a Minnesotan but you can do Jesse Ventura, email us, please. We are exactly. We need someone to do a voiceover for our show, but I want it to sound like Jesse Ventura. So info@bspodcast.ca. Just thought of that.
So
sorry to hijack Bending.
No, you're good. You says, I pray that you both eat some real bacon and come to New Jersey on your way to SHOT Show. I'll bake you some proper bacon.
I don't know how
come
much,
with a challenge, for God's sake, man. Like, really,
we've got some pretty amazing bacon, but also I don't know if UKI knows about the geography about going to New Jersey before Las Vegas from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. We are directly north of the northeastern corner of Montana.
Oh, so yeah,
you guys are great.
But all right, guys. They are linked in the description down below. And if you guys want to help support the channel and want to donate, there's a Cash App down there. I don't expect anybody to, but if you want to, cool. If you don't, that's fine too. But I will catch you guys next time. Peace.
Appreciate it, man. See you later.